a look at this map. At first glance, it looks like a map of India's diplomatic outreach. But look closer. This isn't a map of trade agreements, it isn't a map of defense partnership, and it certainly isn't just another list of countries Prime Minister Modi has visited. This is India's critical minerals map, a blueprint of how New Delhi is quietly securing the resources that will power the industries of the future. Without further ado, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Deep Dive brought to you by NewsX. I am Pia, and over the past 2 years, India has built a global network spanning 35 countries. Of these, 24 partnerships have already been signed, while discussions are underway with 11 more nations. The map itself stretches from Canada and the United States to Argentina and Chile, from the mineral-rich nations of Africa to Europe, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and now increasingly Oceania as well, Australia in particular. Each partnership is different, but they all revolve around one common objective: ensuring India has reliable access to the world's most strategic minerals. And that's exactly why today's announcement matters. India and Australia have signed a new set of agreements deepening cooperation in critical minerals, clean energy, uranium, nuclear cooperation, and maritime security. At first glance, it may look like another diplomatic milestone, but in reality, it is another major piece in India's long-term strategy to secure the supply chains that will drive its economic and technological ambitions for decades to come. But why are countries suddenly racing to secure these minerals? It is because the global economy is undergoing a transformation unlike anything seen since the Industrial Revolution. Oil powered the 20th century, critical minerals will power the 21st. Electric vehicles need lithium, nickel, cobalt, and graphite for their batteries. Wind turbines rely on rare earth magnets. Solar panels require specialized minerals such as silicon and gallium. Advanced fighter jets, missiles, satellites, and naval systems depend on rare earth elements and high-performance alloys. Even artificial intelligence, data centers, and semiconductor manufacturing requires a steady supply of critical minerals. In short, whoever controls these supply chains will hold a significant advantage in the clean energy and advanced technology race. Now, this is where India's challenge begins. India has ambitious plans to become a global manufacturing hub. We want to produce electric vehicles, build gigafactories for batteries, expand solar manufacturing, develop semiconductor fabrication plants, and emerge as a leader in green hydrogen. But manufacturing these technologies requires a steady supply of minerals that India either produces in limited quantities or must import from overseas. Today, much of the world's capacity to refine battery materials and rare earth elements is concentrated in just a handful of countries, making access to trusted partners as important as access to minerals themselves. And that is precisely why India's strategy extends far beyond its own borders. Rather than depending on a single supplier, New Delhi has spent the last 2 years building a diversified global network for critical minerals. But among all of India's international partners, Australia occupies a uniquely strategic position. And why is this? It is because Australia isn't just another mineral producer, it is one of the world's largest mining powerhouses. It is among the top 3 producers of lithium globally, the key ingredient powering electric vehicle batteries and large-scale energy storage systems as well. It also has significant reserves of cobalt, a critical component in battery cathodes that improves battery life and performance. And when it comes to uranium, Australia holds nearly 28% of the world's known reserves, making it one of the most important suppliers for countries looking to expand civil nuclear power. These strengths align almost perfectly with India's long-term energy ambitions. India has set for itself an ambitious target of meeting 50% of its electricity requirement from non-fossil fuel sources by 2030. Achieving that goal will require millions of electric vehicles, massive battery storage systems, thousands of megawatts of new solar and wind capacity, and an expansion of nuclear energy as well. Each of these sectors depends on exactly the minerals that Australia produces in globally significant quantities. And that is why the latest agreements between New Delhi and Canberra are about much more than simply buying minerals. One of the most significant proposals under discussion is the creation of a dedicated India-Australia critical minerals corridor, a long-term supply chain linking Australian mines with Indian processing facilities and manufacturers. The objective is to move beyond a traditional buyer-seller relationship and create an integrated partnership spanning exploration, mining, investment, processing, logistics, and advanced manufacturing. If realized, the corridor would allow Australian lithium, cobalt, and other critical minerals to move directly into India's rapidly expanding battery ecosystem, supporting everything from electric vehicles and grid-scale energy storage to solar manufacturing and advanced electronics at the same time. Australia would gain access to one of the world's fastest growing clean energy markets, making the partnership mutually beneficial. The agreement also deepens cooperation in uranium supply, clean energy technologies, and strategic investments, adding another layer to an already expanding economic partnership. Together, these initiatives are designed to reduce supply chain vulnerabilities, encourage private investment, and give both countries greater resilience at a time when critical mineral supply chains have become increasingly competitive. For India in particular, the focus is no longer on finding these critical minerals, but on securing the supply chain from mine to factories to floor. That is where Australia fits in. And with adjunct resources, advanced mining expertise, and reliable long-term supply chains, today's agreement is yet another step in India's broader strategy to build a global critical minerals network spanning right from Australia to Africa to South America and Central Asia as well. The 20th century was, as I mentioned earlier, powered by oil, and the 21st will be powered by critical minerals. And with Australia, India is securing these resources that will fuel its clean energy and manufacturing future. With us on the broadcast is a very special guest, Dr. Jayajit Bhattacharya, President of CDEP Research. Thank you so much, sir, for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX. This agreement that we've seen is basically operationalizing the India-Australia Civil Nuclear Agreement that was signed in 2014. As I mentioned earlier, Australia holds 28% of global uranium reserves, which amount to about 1.7 million tons. India's current nuclear capacity is somewhere around 8.78 gigawatts. Our goal by 2047 is 100 gigawatts. And this is just the nuclear sector. In your assessment, how crucial is this particular agreement? How much of a game changer is it to realize this goal as elucidated by the Shanti Act, as well as our larger goal of net zero emissions by 2070?
Yeah, everything that you mentioned, including the Shanti Act, which really allows the private sector to step in nuclear power production, including rolling out what's called the small modular reactors, the SMR. India can manufacture all of these, can manufacture the reactors, and we are leaders in certain kinds of reactors, such as the fast breeder reactor. But the bulk of what India really needs immediately is uranium powered reactors, and we do not produce any noticeable amount of uranium. It's very little uranium that India has, and the uranium that we have in the Northeast is a little difficult to mine, and there are other challenges around it. So if India really needs to scale up from the 28 gigawatts that you mentioned to 100 gigawatts of uranium powered, nuclear powered reactors, which is largely uranium powered, then we would need to ensure that we are able to get those uranium from some place. And clearly it's 3 times more than what we have right now. It has always been a challenge to get nuclear fuel. And therefore India around 2009, 2010 entered into the NSG agreement with the US and the rest of the world, which allowed India to get into the global trade of nuclear material. And therefore, that is what led to the agreement with Australia for Australia to supply what is usually called the yellow cake, which is the uranium raw material. And it has taken another 10 years from there to actually turn it into actual operationalization where the uranium starts flowing in. Now, for India, it's not just converting India's energy mix into a larger mix of nuclear powered energy to reduce the pollution, but also the fact that we need about a 1,000 gigawatts of energy overall. So even when we reach a target of 100 gigawatts of nuclear energy, there is still more that we need to achieve, and therefore our targets post 2030 needs to scale up even more significantly to be able to power this particular economy, which will by then become a $7 to $8 trillion economy. And that kind of economy needs enormous amount of energy, which just cannot be solved through coal. We are already seeing the impact of climate change happening, with rainfalls being unpredictable. Places where there used to be rain has now turned into dry areas, and vice versa. And therefore, the solution is to have more renewable energy, as you rightly said. Within that, a lot of the energy has to come from nuclear to be able to make it a target which is achievable.
All right, sir. I've completely run out of time, but I'd like to thank you, of course, for sharing these insights of yours. On that note, viewers, we dip into a quick short break. More news and updates on the other side. Stay tuned on NewsX.